Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier. Hello, I am Rat King, and welcome back to part 2 of me reading characters' backstories and objects. If you missed part 1, I'll link it down below, but this is part 2. If you want to see part 3, I'd recommend subscribing, and if you maybe want to see your favorite character in there, and so that I can read their backstory, just comment down below and hopefully I have them. But yeah, please enjoy.
Two gentlemen walked into a fine brick building. Oh, Miss Timekeeper! My sincerest apologies. I was immersed in a novel and did not notice you.
Satsuki, a mixed work exhibited in the 1910s and the 1920s for 16 years. So her mother was probably maybe a human, while her father was an arcanist. And she was born and raised around the time in the 1910s and the 1920s, and she's 16 years old. First exhibited in Hokkaido, Japan. The exhibit was later moved to Tokyo. So that's obviously where she lived. May 1st is when she was born, so the day that I'm recording it is her birthday. Happy birthday, girl. Fine accessories. I'm gonna drop saying what these are because I genuinely don't know. An exquisite yet surprisingly cheap accessory in the interviewee's simple outfit. Judging from her behavior, she must care about this little thing greatly, and there must be a story behind it. A pair of peculiar handcuffs. A pair of handcuffs designed to control her arcane skill, instead of containing her freedom. These are costly items. She could live a decent life for quite some time on the money if the handcuffs could be sold. A cherry blossom falling in the peak bloom period. One of the cherry blossoms that fall from the tree in May, the last flowering month in the year. Flowers like this one are born tenacious. They try hard to grow until they finally bloom, even if such effort is unnoticeable and deemed valueless. On this hopeless land, the orphan girl could only make a living by theft, which had earned her the title Little Thief using arcane skill from the local. On this hopeless land, the orphan girl could only make a living by theft, which had earned her the On this hopeless land, the orphan girl could only make a living by theft, which had earned her the title Little Thief using arcane skill. Very creative. From the local government. To put her behind bars, the government hired an arcanist from Honshu, who eventually captured her and put her in a pair of unbreakable handcuffs. The arcanist said to the girl, "You will have to wear these for the rest of your life, unless you cut off your arms, but you'd be dead then." Many years later, she ran away and found a place for herself in the prosperous city of Tokyo. There she worked as a maid in a tea house, under the name Satsuki, and started a new life. Maybe, just maybe, this will be a story of a young girl who lives happily ever after. Welcome to Usakura Tea House, where we have rice and curry for 30 shen, yoakudan for 40 shen, omurice for 20 shen, deep fried shrimp for 25 shen, rice and deep fried chicken for 45 shen, steak and beef stew both for 50 shen, ham salad for 35 shen, and okashi for 8 shen. The food has nothing special, just like what is in the other restaurants, but the waitresses here are all really cute, especially the one in handcuffs. You heard the clangs when she walks? How interesting. Pandora Wilson. Miss Satsuki, your story is really touching. Satsuki, huh? Pandora Wilson. Your path is both sad and beautiful. just like the life of the heroines in the Taisho period literature. Satsuki: "You are flattering me. I am but a commoner." Pandora Wilson: "The self-deprivation in you makes fascinating material. May I take a photo of you for our next issue's cover? Please look at the camera over there." Satsuki: "What? Please stop." Pandora Wilson: "We don't get to find such excellent material every day, so please excuse me. Where's the camera?" Satsuki: Hear me out. You don't want to take a photo of someone as humble as me." Pandora Wilson: "Wait, the recording pen should be on the table. Hold on a second. If I remember correctly, Miss Satsuki, you used to be a..." Satsuki: "Yes. As you know, it's a disgrace, but I did that to make a living, so I'll never regret it." Pandora Wilson: I see. And I fully understand how much you don't want to be on the cover. By the way, the hairs behind you are still holding my camera and recording pen. I'll be very grateful if they can give that back to me."
You often show up unexpectedly. Is this a recent trend among the house guests? Given it some thought, some of my people also flew to another tree unanticipatedly. I see. I will try it someday.
Getian, an arcanist work first exhibited around the year 220 in the Gregorian calendar. So he is a pure arcanist, and he's very old, born around in 220, and obviously around the Gregorian calendar, so that kind of gives a hint as to where he was born. Completed in the summer of an unknown year, originally exhibited in the East, now preserved in the St. Pavlov Foundation. So the hidden town that he was in, they moved him out and now he's at St. Pavlov. He's a pretty cool character. I like him a lot. He's awesome. Neversong, an unusual wand, an old friend withered by time. After years of listening and thinking, it finally fell silent. However, according to its owner, it would trip a little under certain circumstances. An arrowroot fabric, a 200 centimeters long and 150 centimeters wide piece of cloth woven from the fibers of the arrowroot. Some speculate that it may be a bedsheet, while others believe it to be a nest for Mimeng. Regardless, its purpose remains shrouded in mystery as its owner remains tight-lipped about the details. Flute with Jade. Yeah, play the music with Jade. Okay. Still smooth to the touch, it has seen a lot in this world. Any part of its history would be enough to make it the most sought-after item at any auction house. But all the attempts to appraise it have been in vain, for its owner has no interest in gold and cares little what others think of the flute. The day passed easily for the immortal race, even if time was measured only by the stories recorded in the white skeletons of his people. He had seen much in this world, births and deaths, victories and defeats, the beginning of a tragic time and the end of a great era. Turbulent times always make great heroes, but great heroes aren't promised to every volatile era. In the end, everyone succumbed to the march of time. Some Mimengs left the mountain, giving up their immortal lives in exchange for a chance to change the world, but few achieved their goals. Their skeletons lie scattered across the earth, waiting for the bone collectors to take them home. There are too few of them to change that, Yan Ping thought. Even so, he didn't dissuade his friend from leaving the mountain. A farewell was said as he fixed a final gaze on his friend's back. Heaven and earth never sought immortality, but they are eternal. A group photo. A photo that captured one of the best moments at a party. It depicted the throwing of confetti, festive lights, firecrackers, and many happy faces. In the midst of the celebration, a bird seemed to be in shock. A copy of the photo. The ghost journalist arrived later and took another picture of the party. After being in the suitcase reporter's hands, the picture showed something different. It had animals with furs, scales, and horns, a small puff of mist, a drifting satellite, and a piece of broken glass. Above their heads, a pair of giant bird wings stretched across the room. Assorted items. A few letters from different places, some of them with a small handcraft gift attached, others with just a small bottle of melted snow. They all seemed to come from an icy place. An excerpt from the handwritten letter is as follows. Allow me to explain a little about what you have asked. The dances my people learned as children were mostly for ceremonial purposes. I'm afraid they are very different from today's dances. The rock music, disco, and violin you mentioned are unfamiliar to me, but I'd like to try them if they also have the power of music to soothe the heart. In scribbled handwriting. He almost wrote an article in response. This must be a yes. That pirate Regulus told you he likes the idea of forming a band with us. In another handwriting. Really? I knew he was a music fan, but I heard him humming in his room. Really? I knew he was a music fan when I heard him humming in his room, but he denied it when I asked him personally. Well, we shall see. Pandora Wilson. Good afternoon, Mr. Getian. Getian, startled. Pandora Wilson. Sorry if I startled you, Getian. It's you. You look different, but I know it is still you. The world outside the mountain is full of questions, especially you, one-mouthed lady. Am I correct in understanding that people pay each other unexpected visits these days? Pandora Wilson. No, I only did it because my arcane skill allows it. Getian. Perhaps it could be put to other uses. Pandora Wilson. Like? Getian. I would appreciate it if you would not appear out of nowhere at the window at sunrise tomorrow. The doctor here told me that as people age, they may not be able to handle sudden shocks as well as they used to. Now that I think of her words, it seems that she was reminding me to be aware of your sudden arrival. Pandora Wilson. Quiet. Very well. Of course, sir, I will warn you tomorrow before I come. Getian. That would be great. See you then. Pandora Wilson. See you. The next day. Pandora Wilson. He could have just denied my request for an interview, but he insisted on coming up with an excuse. How thoughtful of him.
What do you want to hear? We've got plenty of time together.
Diggers. An Arcanist work exhibited in the 1960s for 20 years. So he was born around the 1960s, makes sense with the hippie style, and he is 20 years old. Completed in winter on February 15th, his birthday. Winter is kind of ironic considering all the flower motifs. Flower motifs? I don't know if you would call it that. Anyways, exhibited in Great London, United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. So that is where he basically moved around because no one can hold this hipster down. Bubble glasses. Self-made glasses which symbolize the owner's wishes for a better future. The big and small rings are like the people holding hands. It could be you or me, my friend. Given the unusual design and the meaning behind it, these pair of glasses always catch people's attention before its owner does. Spring of inspiration. A variety of containers for bubble solutions of all colors. Since the interviewee insists, we will call them the spring of inspiration from the great muse. The path of ideas. An extremely simple iron badge. When we talked about it, it was hard to feel the usual gloom on the interviewee. Instead, I could easily sense the radicalness and courage under his calm surface. Where can we find art? Before the 20th century, art only belonged to a small group of people. It resided in wine glasses and were let out in the form of paints. Different methods of painting and their artists constituted the early version of avant-garde art. People fixed gilded frames around the paintings. Later, they did the same to the artist's portraits. But these days, art belongs to everyone. It found its way out of fancy saloons, freeing itself from the rules. Advertisements, films, pop music, it's found everywhere. The young man wandering in the street stopped. This is where he wished to stand his ground, to help art travel further, to reach a bigger crowd. He has been striving to make it happen. So, my friend, where do you think one can find art? It's been a long month for Miss Miller and her garage. At first the roller shutter was haunted by a scuffing noise which seemed to be made of some gregarious rodent, but there was no trace of a single rat even after the rat control team searched the place from top to bottom with their cutting-edge devices. After rumors about the garage spread across the neighborhood, a strange Sloven in all colors sneaked into her yard. He claimed to be able to solve Miss Miller's problem, when confronted with the gardening scissors in her trembling hands. The man spent a very long time carrying out his solution, which was to pour paints of all colors randomly on every corner of the place. During his work, that battered radio did a perfect job completing the farce by playing rock music as noisy as the man. In the end, the old woman called the police when the young mister finally managed to catch the black furballs, which were trying to sneak away in the shadow. Then the man ran away like the wind before the police arrived, yet he wouldn't give up yelling gibberish like carbuncles and new bubble solution materials on the way. At last, after the long torture, Miss Miller retrieved peace in her garage, a quiet, colorful one. Perhaps the neighbors would love her new garage, and perhaps she needs a new radio, Miss Miller is thinking. Pandora Wilson. Hello? Diggers. You're finally here, madame. Even the dimmest firefly will be spotted one day, not to mention a burning torch. I know that well, and I've been working hard to prepare for it. Pandora Wilson. Please calm down, Mr. Diggers. I think you have some misunderstanding about Uru. Diggers. Is it a magazine on artworks? Pandora Wilson. Yes, it is. Diggers. And the interview with me will take quite a lot of space in this issue? Pandora Wilson. Well, that's how we deal with interviews, in most cases. Diggers. There it is. If the world goes completely dark, you and Uru will be the only one. No, the only two lights of hope. I am glad to be here today to explain the position of new art in the future utopia and the... Pandora Wilson. An interesting topic. But I'm sorry to say Uru doesn't have so many readers as you think. We have yet to become an important part of most people's leisure life. Diggers. I think I need to leave.
Please, have a seat. You'll always feel at ease is in my room, no matter the time.
Isolde, an arcanist work, fully arcanist, exhibited at the dawn of the 20th century and showcased for 18 years. She was born at the beginning of the 20th century and she is now 18 years old. Completed in autumn on the 23rd of November, initially exhibited in Vienna, Cisleivania, within the Austria-Hungarian Empire, and later archived at the St. Pavlov Foundation. So, she's Austro-Hungarian, obviously, and she's gorgeous. Desires and Tears. Inspired by the Dance of the Seven Veils, the beloved Carlo sisters personally tailored an exquisite gown for Isolde called Moonlight Veil. Her headpiece, Desires and Tears, is the crowning glory of the outfit, with pure white lace adding depth and sophistication to the piece, while the pearl necklace representing tears accentuates the wearer's soft beauty and elegance. Enamel butterfly brooch. Elegant and serene, this piece embodies the pinnacle of art in jewelry. Using materials that manage to be not quite prohibitively expensive, it is rumored to have once adorned a queen of the House of Bourbon. Though designed as a brooch, it has been tastefully repurposed. Star of Vienna. This genuine sapphire, weighing a staggering 326.37 carats, has internal needle-like conclusions that create a stunning optical effect known as asterism. Known as the Star of Vienna, its radiant beauty speaks for itself. Vienna, the portrait of elegance and tranquility, a pearl set upon the banks of Danube. Everyone knows that here, what people covet in their dreams is not merely wealth and power, but something far more splendid, something that transcends class, rendering every sincere heart equal before it. It coats the barren mundanity of reality with a layer of wondrous honey, satisfying the Viennese senses to their utmost, thus giving over from taste to taste, art and art alone. It is an evergreen tree that grows on desire, the world's most perfect deception. People water it with their most naked primal desires and their truest selves, sparing nothing in their devotion. Elegance is a golden fabric that covers wounds and makes even the most defiled shine. Where hoarding is called protection and monopoly selection, where before a flat altar a path paved with gold is lain, with all trying to pluck the sweetest fruit that grows beside it. Venus pities me, whispers an innocent voice from behind the curtain. Yes, yes, replied an older nobleman, leading the naive child away, while in the distance, outside the window, several plainly dressed children cling to the bars, longing for a glimpse of Venus. Alas, they lack for much, having neither a smidgen of talent, a short middle name, nor the distinguished surname to follow it. A reassembled piece of paper. I see you, Muse, I look towards you, burn in the soil growing between the stitches. Growing, ever growing, until my nails sink into the water. I watch you, I gaze at you, my glass, his glass, right here brimming with the fullness of self. You disappeared, our Evangeline. The vestiges of being torn in half and reassembled. Growing in the soil, growing between the stitches, growing, ever growing, until the shackles of fate bind your hands, piercing palms. Behind the door you were born, growing in swaddling clothes, growing, ever growing. I watch you, I gaze at you, my glass, right here beneath the seven veils of the self. You returned, our blank Schmeller. Pandora Wilson. Hello, Mrs. Isolde. Isolde. It is good to meet you, Miss Mouth. Pandora Wilson. It seems the control you were once under has finally come to an end. How does it feel to be free again? Isolde. Free again? Why, Miss Mouth, I've always been free, and on the stage is where I've always been the freest. Pandora Wilson. I don't believe that to be entirely true. Could it be that your mental state has not yet been fully restored? Perhaps you have not yet awakened from your delusions? Isolde. On the contrary, Miss Mouth, quite the contrary. For an actress only the stage is real. For those who are not awake, only the land of dreams can be called home, and I no longer need to awaken. Pandora Wilson. But every show must come to an end. Isolde. Not life. Life never does.